Okay, so what I want to do now is take you through a patient attraction funnel that we've developed for our CoolSculpting clients and show you how we tend to think about funnels and how we use them to attract patients to your practice. There are 5 phases to this funnel. One is a paid ad, we have a landing page, we have an offer, we have a call to action, and we have a nurture campaign. And if you don't know what those terms mean, don't worry, we'll talk you through them as we go through this. The reason we call it a funnel is because a relatively large number of people will go in on one end, on the left-hand side, and the purpose of the funnel is to whittle that number down so that gradually you end up with a relatively small number, but those people represent your ideal patient. And by the time they get to the end of the funnel, if we've done our job, they're highly motivated to take action. So with that said, let's put some flesh and bones on this thing. It always starts with an ad, either a video ad that we do through our subsidiary, if you will, MD News Video, or it could be a static ad. What we do is we run that ad under the auspices of MD News Social, which is an offshoot, as is MD News Video, of the magazine that we've been running for years. A lot of our clients asked us for help in the social media space, so that's what we're doing here, MD News Social. And we run this ad, and what happens is when they click on an ad, they end up on a landing page. Now, I put the ClickFunnels logo there because that's the software we use to create our landing pages. And for anybody who doesn't know what a landing page is, it's essentially a standalone web page that is designed to do one thing and one thing only. So here's one we put together as an example. This is one we put together for a med spa client, and we're inviting people to an event, and we're asking them to just give us their name and email address, in this case also a phone number, in order to get the invitation to this special event. There are a lot of people in the Facebook advertising space, including some high profile healthcare advertisers, who are purchasing ad clicks and then sending those clicks to a blog post or to their website. And what happens there is that the end user starts clicking around because the website's got lots of other navigation links on there. They start clicking around, and on the face of it, that may seem like a good idea, right? They're going to find out more about your company, and then they're going to book an appointment, and it's going to be wonderful. But no, they never book an appointment. They always leave, and they always leave without doing the one thing you need them to do, which is to give you their contact information so that you can complete the rest of the funnel. You can't do that without their contact information. So the landing page is a way to take them somewhere that is not your website, that will give them an opportunity to get whatever it is the offer is, whether it's content or this invitation, and give you some kind of contact information in exchange. So they land on this landing page, and there's the offer that they got. You saw that it was an invitation to a special event in the example I showed you, but it could be a gift card, it could be a special discounted price, it could be some content, it could be some information about the procedure or some before and after case studies. There's any number of different things you can do to offer them something, but the most important thing is they don't get that offer until they give you something in exchange, which is usually their email address, and then sometimes, as I say, a phone number. There's something else on that landing page that is worth discussing now, and that is a pixel. You've probably all had the experience of having an ad that you see. You maybe are looking up some airline prices, or you're looking to purchase something online, and then everywhere you go on the internet from then on, you seem to be followed by this ad. That is because of pixels. That is all done through pixels, and Facebook has a pixel that we put onto all of our landing pages, and that gives us an opportunity to take those people who landed on that page but decided for whatever reason not to download the offer. It gives us another go at them. We can retarget the ad. We can perhaps give them a different offer, something a little more enticing for them, or maybe the same offer, but just give them another chance. But that's a really effective way to take people who have shown an interest. They did, after all, click on your ad, and give them another opportunity. So anyway, the patient gets the offer, and then they have an opportunity to schedule an appointment. And we say schedule an appointment now because there's 2 phases to this. First blush of people, if you will, who come in, see your offer and say, great, I'm going to schedule an appointment. And the mistake a lot of people make is that they end the funnel there. They don't actually complete the funnel, because there's this whole other set of people who aren't going to book an appointment now, but they are interested, and they may well book an appointment somewhere down the road. So we send them additional email communications. It could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 10, it could be 20. But each one of those is more information about the procedure, maybe some more case studies, maybe some before and after photographs. And each one of them gives the patient an opportunity, or the prospect I should say at this stage, an opportunity to become patients by scheduling their appointment after the fact. So there is your funnel. That's what it looks like. And if we put some numbers on this, we start to really see how powerful it can be. Let's assume that 1,000 people click through to that landing page. And of those 1,000 people, 200 download the offer. And the offer, let's say for the sake of argument, is a gift certificate that they can use to offset the cost of the procedure. So 20% is a relatively low number. We typically would expect somewhere between 20 and 50%. So 20 is very much on the low end of that, but we want to keep it that way for now. Of the 20% that download it, 3% schedule an appointment right away. They take the opportunity to get their appointment in as quickly as possible. And then, as part of that nurture campaign, let's say over the course of the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 more people, having received additional information from you, decide, yeah, you know what, I will go in there and have an appointment. So another 6 people come from there. And there is your funnel. Now is a good time to sort of look at a couple of metrics that we would lean on you to provide. We'll certainly help you provide them, but we would definitely ask you to come up with something. The first is what we call the PLV, the patient lifetime value. You all know how much this procedure costs in your particular practice. That's a relatively easy number to come to, but we encourage you to look a little deeper and say, okay, how many of the patients that come in for this procedure come back for additional procedures, either additional treatments of the CoolSculpting procedure or maybe a completely different procedure. And that depends on you, the kind of practice you are, whether you're a dermatologist that offers CoolSculpting or whether you are a plastic surgeon that offers CoolSculpting. You know better than I do the kinds of procedures people might come back for. Maybe you have a relatively low cost procedure that people will come back in for a fairly regular basis, maybe a peel or something like that, or a filler. So depending on your practice, depending on the number of patients that are coming through and coming back again, and of course very much depending on the sequences that we'll help you put together to encourage those return visits. So part of the nurture sequence is to encourage people to come back. So we'll come up with a lifetime value for each patient, an average lifetime value. In this case, I've come up with $1,500. So we have 12 patients coming through at $1,500 patient lifetime value. That is going to give you, from this campaign, $18,000 in revenue. And from there, you can come up with what I consider to be the most important metric in internet marketing. We call it the EPL, earnings per lead. $18,000 divided by the 1,000 people who ended up on that landing page gives you an EPL of $18. So the key question now becomes, how much did it cost you to get those leads? If it's generating $18 in revenue, then as long as it's coming up with less than $18 in terms of cost per lead, you've got a profitable campaign. And our typical cost per lead, somewhere between $5 and $12. It varies from practice to practice, depending on the market, depending on how competitive the market is, and the value and the cost of those clicks, the time of year that can have an impact. But there's a number of different factors. But somewhere between $5 and $12 is a reasonable number. But here's where the fun starts, because every phase of this funnel can now be optimized to improve its performance. We talked about that 20%, 200 people downloading the offer, being a relatively conservative number. Well, what if we made the offer a little bit more enticing and got 25 or 30% to download it? And similarly, at the call to action phase, we ask people to, we hope and expect that 3% of people will book an appointment, but we can encourage them with an additional offer to book an appointment right away. And we've had some success with this. That invitation that I showed you earlier, we said to those folks, hey, if you RSVP within the next 30 minutes, we'll give you an additional gift. So that encouraged more people to RSVP. Similarly with the nurture campaign, we've got 4 emails here, but what if one of those emails was instead a phone call? And we said, okay, let's have someone from the front desk place a call, not a pushy sales call, just a genuinely interested call. Hey, I saw you downloaded the offer. Do you have any questions about the procedure? Would you like to schedule an appointment? Very straightforward, very low pressure, but it's a really good way to improve that 3% to something like 4, 5, 6%. So it's not hard to see how that $18 EPL could easily be pushed to $20, $25, even $30 as an EPL. And that gives you much more leeway in terms of what you're able to pay to acquire that lead. So your cost per lead you can afford to pay higher for that lead because you know that your earnings per lead has gone up as well. So that's how a funnel works. That's how the numbers work. And it really does change everything. It changes the way you think about marketing entirely, because for every dollar you spend, you know you're going to get $3, $4, $5 back. And that becomes a very powerful incentive to spend more on marketing, not less. And it changes the entire dynamic of your practice, the predictability of saying, well, if I spend this much money this month, I know how many patients I'm going to have next month. It's very powerful and very useful information in terms of managing your practice, growing your practice, managing cash flow, all of those things. So we build these for a living. We'd love to build something like this for you. If that's something that interests you, then click the button below this video and that will take you to my calendar. And what we can do is set up a strategy call. I'd love to come by and meet with you if that's possible, but I get a lot of these appointments, as you can imagine, and sometimes it has to be done by phone or Skype. But either way, we'll definitely chat about what your practice is trying to accomplish, how you think maybe some Facebook advertising and a funnel like this might help you, and if there's something that we can do for you to help you attract more patients. Nothing would make us happier. So click the button below. Look forward to having a chance to chat with you. And yes, let's build you a funnel and get you some patients. Thanks a lot.